Have you ever felt like something deep inside you has been silently screaming, begging to be seen, to be heard, to be loved? Maybe you've achieved things. Maybe you've survived pain, smiled when you were breaking inside. And yet, there's still this strange emptiness, a quiet loneliness, a voice that whispers, something's missing. That missing piece is not out there. It's not success. It's not love from others. It's the part of you that was silenced long ago. The you, part that learned to hide its emotions to survive. The little girl inside you, who never got the chance to be a child. Carl Jung believed that the key to our life's purpose doesn't lie in becoming something else, but in finally accepting and integrating all that we are, especially the parts we've repressed. Your sadness, your rage, your fear, your craving for love, all of it. What if your purpose is hidden not in the light you show the world, but in the shadow you've been taught to fear? What if the pain you've been running from is the doorway to the person you're meant to become? In today's video, we're going to explore how your dark side, the repressed child within, and your unloved emotions can actually reveal your true path, the one your soul has been calling you toward for years. And for those of you walking this journey, healing piece by piece, you're not alone. Soon, we'll release a powerful ebook rooted in Carl Jung's psychology with real, practical steps to help you heal your inner child. Stay tuned, we'll post it in the pinned comment. But even here, you'll receive deep healing insights. Subscribe because this channel is your space to transform pain into power. Let's begin. Maybe no one ever taught you how to be whole. Maybe you were raised to smile through the pain, to shrink yourself, to survive in silence. And now as an adult you carry the weight of a story that was never fully told, because the most important part of you, your inner child, was never allowed to speak. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. And this is the truth no one told us, that the emotions you repress, the anger you hide, the tears you never let fall, they don't just vanish. They become the invisible strings pulling your life in directions that make no sense. If you've ever sabotaged something good without knowing why, if you've ever stayed in places that hurt you because they felt strangely familiar, if you've ever felt a deep longing for something you couldn't name, then this message is for you. In today's video, we're going to explore the power of your repressed emotions, your shadow self, and that forgotten child within you. Not to blame, but to finally bring light where there has only been silence. This is a safe space, a space where your truth is welcome. And if you're walking this path with us, step by step, know that you're not alone. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. We're here 3 times a week with deep transformational content. Leave a comment below and tell us what part of you is ready to heal, because the moment you speak it is the moment your healing begins. Now, let's go deeper. There is a silent part of you that has been waiting your entire life to be seen, a part that never disappeared, only hid. It was the version of you that was once told to be quiet, to be good, to not feel so much, to not need so much. That part of you is your inner child, and she's not gone, she's just been buried beneath layers of performance, perfectionism, people-pleasing, and pain. Carl Jung believed that inside every adult there are still traces of the child they once were, especially the wounds they were never allowed to feel. These wounds don't just disappear with time, they evolve. They shape the way you love, the way you react, the way you see yourself, and the way you run from yourself. But here's the truth. No one teaches us. The pain you avoid becomes the life you repeat. And your shadow, the hidden, repressed side of your psyche, holds the very key to your healing. Jung called this journey individuation, the sacred process of becoming whole. Not perfect, whole. And to do that, you must confront what was hidden in the dark. Let's talk about that darkness for a moment, because it's not evil, it's not your enemy. It's simply the collection of parts you were never allowed to show. Maybe you were taught that anger was unacceptable. So now you suppress your needs until you explode. Maybe you were told not to cry. So now you numb yourself and call it strength. Maybe you were neglected or abandoned. So now you chase love that feels just like the pain you once knew. This is not your fault, but it is your responsibility to stop the cycle. Healing doesn't mean going back in time and changing what happened. It means creating a new relationship with yourself in the present. And the starting point? Listening to the child within. Ask her, what did you need that you never received? What part of you was silenced, punished, ignored? What story did you start? Telling yourself about your worth, because whether or not you're aware of it, that story is still running your life. Every time you sabotage something good, every time you shrink in the face of love, every time you judge yourself for needing rest or tenderness or boundaries, that inner child is crying out, not for attention, but for acknowledgement. Jung taught that what we repress controls us from the shadows. And the more we deny our emotions, the more power they have over our choices. But here's the beautiful paradox. The very parts of yourself that you've been afraid to face hold the wisdom to guide you back home. When you start to observe your emotional reactions, not with judgment but with compassion, you start to shift. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" you begin to ask, "What is this emotion trying to teach me?" That sudden jealousy might reveal a part of you that feels unworthy. That deep sadness might be grief you never processed. That anger might be your power trying to protect. Zen teaches us that we don't need to fight our pain, we need to witness it. Just like a parent holding a scared child, we learn to sit with ourselves. To say, "I see you, I'm here now, you don't have to do this alone anymore." And when you do that consistently, something begins to shift. You stop running, you stop performing, you stop abandoning yourself for the sake of being liked or accepted. You begin to return to the truth of who you are before the world told you who you had to be. This is shadow work. This is inner child work. This is real healing. And yes, it's hard. Yes, it's emotional. Yes, some days will feel heavier than others. But every moment you choose presence over performance. Every time you honor your needs instead of suppressing them, every time you speak kindly to yourself instead of repeating old shame, you're healing. You are showing that little girl inside you that she is safe now, that she matters, that she is loved, not for what she does, but for who she is. Carl Jung once said, "I'd rather be whole than good." That means embracing every part of yourself, not just the polished parts, your anger, your grief, your fears, your desires. They all deserve a seat at the table because they all make you, you. So if today feels heavy, if you're overwhelmed by how far you have to go, just take one small step. Be with yourself gently, honestly, without judgment. And remember, healing is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world made you forget. We'll continue this journey together. But for now, it's pause, breathe, and know this. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're remembering. Subscribe to this channel if this message resonates. We're here 3 times a week to go deeper into these truths, because you deserve to heal and to live a life that finally feels like it's yours. Let's continue together. So let's go deeper. What happens when we don't acknowledge our inner child or the shadows we carry? We project them. Carl Jung taught that everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. In other words, the things we dislike, judge, or react to in others are often mirrors reflecting something unhealed within us. Ever been triggered by someone's arrogance? It might be touching the part of you that was never allowed to speak up. Does someone's neediness annoy you? Maybe it reminds you of your own emotional needs that were once shamed or unmet. Are you uncomfortable around someone's vulnerability? Perhaps you were taught to suppress your own. This is projection. Our unconscious doesn't just hide pain, it tries to discharge it by placing it onto the world. And unless we become aware of it, we'll live in a constant state of reaction. Blaming others, resenting life, and feeling powerless. But here's the truth. The world is not against you. It's revealing you. Every emotion that rises up is an invitation to pause and ask, what is this moment reflecting back to me? Instead of fighting your reactions, get curious about them. Let them guide you to the parts of yourself that still feel unseen. Because every trigger is a teacher. Every irritation is a doorway, and every emotional reaction is a chance to meet a version of yourself that still needs healing. This is where your shadow lives. not in darkness that's meant to be feared, but in forgotten pieces of you, waiting to come back into the light. Let's go even further. Many people confuse shadow work with negativity. They think it's about dwelling in pain or focusing on the worst parts of ourselves. But that's not what this is. Shadow work is about integration. It's about realizing that the parts of you you've tried to exile, your anger, your jealousy, your sadness, your neediness, aren't flaws. They're signals. They're expressions of unmet needs and stories that were never finished. And your job isn't to destroy them. It's to understand them. The woman who always says yes when she wants to say no is not too nice. She's afraid of being rejected. The man who lashes out in anger isn't just aggressive. He's likely never been taught how to express pain in safe ways. The person who avoids conflict at all costs may have grown up in a home where love disappeared the moment they showed emotion. You see, behind every overreaction is an overprotected wound. And the moment you start listening to that wound, instead of suppressing it, you begin to heal it. Zen philosophy teaches something similar. Instead of labeling emotions as good or bad, we're invited to simply observe them, without clinging, without rejecting, just being with what is. This is the power of mindfulness, to sit with your own sadness like a wise teacher, to hold your fear without trying to fix it, to breathe through the anger without letting it control you. In that stillness, something beautiful happens. You realize you are not your emotions. You are the one witnessing them. And once you stop identifying with the storm, you become the sky. Now let's talk about what this means for your purpose in life. So many people are searching for meaning outside of themselves. They want clarity, direction, fulfillment. But they're trying to build a future while ignoring the parts of themselves still frozen in the past. You cannot create a life of peace while carrying a self full of pain. Jung said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." And that choice starts here, by facing the shadow, integrating the child, and reclaiming your story. Because here's the truth no one talks about. Your purpose is not some distant goal you'll find one day. It's already inside you. Hidden. Beneath the shame. Buried under the conditioning. Waiting for you to stop running and finally listen. Your dark side, your shadow, is not here to sabotage your life. It's here to lead you to the parts of yourself that hold your deepest wisdom. That sadness you avoid, it teaches empathy. That anger you suppress, it carries your power. That fear you deny, it holds your courage. You don't become your highest self by bypassing the pain. You become it by walking through it with compassion. So ask yourself, what parts of me have I been afraid to face? What do I judge most harshly in others? And could that be pointing back to me? What did my inner child need that I still find myself seeking today? And most importantly, what would it look like to stop hiding from myself? This is the work. This is the healing. And this is how your shadow reveals your purpose, not by giving you a grand plan, but by showing you where you've abandoned yourself and inviting you to return. We'll continue this journey together. There's still more to explore. But for now, let this be your starting point. If this resonates with you, subscribe to the channel. Here we explore Jungian psychology and deep emotional healing 3 times a week, with truth, depth, and care. Because healing isn't a trend, it's a return to who you really are. Let's keep going. Carl Jung once said, "Where your fear is, there is your task." Let those words settle for a moment. Because the truth is, many of us spend our entire lives trying to avoid fear. We see it as a threat, a weakness, a signal to stop. But what if it's not? What if fear is actually a signpost, pointing us toward the very thing that will free us? The truth is, every meaningful act requires a confrontation with fear. Every time you speak your truth, every time you leave what's safe, every time you show up as your full self, you'll feel it, that tightness in your chest, the doubt in your mind, the voice that says, "What if I'm not enough?" But here's what Jung taught us. You don't grow by running from fear. You grow by walking straight through it with awareness. Because the real danger is not fear, it's paralysis. It's living a reactive life, waiting for the perfect moment, hoping your wounds will just disappear on their own. They won't. You heal when you move, when you act, When you make choices that align with who you're becoming, even if your voice shakes, let's make this personal. Ask yourself, what have you been avoiding? Maybe it's a conversation. Maybe it's leaving a job that drains your soul. Maybe it's admitting that you're not okay and that you want help. Whatever it is, your fear isn't there to stop you. It's there to show you where your healing begins. The wounded inner child wants certainty. She wants approval. She wants a guarantee that she won't get hurt again. But your adult self, she knows that true power lies in embracing the unknown. She knows that life isn't about being fearless. It's about being brave enough to feel the fear and take the next step anyway. And this is the paradox of healing. You'll never feel ready. You won't wake up one day with all the answers, but you will feel something else, the pull, a quiet knowing, a subtle discomfort, a whisper that says, there's more for you. That's your cue. So, how do you start? You start small. You make one choice a day that aligns with your truth. You speak one sentence you've been holding in. You say no when your body says no, even if your mind still feels guilty. You write the first paragraph of that book. You apply for the job that scares you. You set the boundary you've been avoiding. And every time you do, you're building something far more powerful than confidence. You're building integrity. You're proving to your inner child that she no longer has to protect herself by hiding, that you, the adult, can now lead with strength, with presence, with love. This is how we reclaim our power. Not by waiting, not by perfecting, but by choosing. Jung believed that the psyche strives for wholeness, not perfection, not control. Wholeness, and wholeness means welcoming all parts of ourselves. The fear, the doubt, the fire, the love. It means accepting that you are not broken, you are becoming. It also means understanding that healing is not a straight line. There will be setbacks. Old wounds will resurface. You will fall into familiar patterns. But that doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're human. And you're still in process. Every time you notice a reaction and pause, you're healing. Every time you choose self-compassion instead of self-criticism, you're healing. Every time you breathe through the discomfort instead of numbing, you're healing. And over time, something shifts. What once triggered you no longer owns you. What once scared you no longer stops you. What once broke you becomes the foundation of your strength. You become the person you needed as a child. And that, right there, is purpose. Your purpose is not about impressing the world. It's not about being perfect. It's about being real. It's about using everything you've lived, every pain, every failure, every triumph, as a way to grow, to connect, to serve. You don't have to become someone else. You just have to return to yourself. So I ask you, where is your fear pointing right? Now don't ignore it. Don't run from it. Let it show you where your next breakthrough lives. And if this message spoke to you, if you felt a part of yourself softening, awakening, remembering, then stay with us. We're building a space here for deep healing, for truth, for courage, for transformation. 3 times a week, we'll be posting videos to help you heal the inner child, understand your shadow, and walk the path of self-love and individuation. Each video is more than content. It's a mirror. And every time you press play, you're saying to yourself, I'm ready, so subscribe now. Turn on the bell and join us in the comments. Tell us what part of this resonated with your heart today. What fear are you facing? What step are you ready to take? Because this isn't just a channel, it's a journey, and you don't have to walk it alone. The journey to healing is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be, that innocent child inside you. The one who felt deeply, dreamed freely, and trusted completely. She's still there. She was never weak. She was never broken. She was silenced by trauma, by fear, by shame. But now, you're not a child anymore. You don't need to. Protect yourself the same way. You have the strength to return, to listen, to hold her hand and say, I see you, I will never abandon you again. And that changes everything, because when you love your inner child, when you accept your shadow, when you embrace the parts of yourself you once rejected, you stop living in fragments, you become whole. You no longer need the world to validate you. You no longer chase perfection or fear rejection, because you know your worth is not something you earn. It's something you remember. Carl Jung taught us that the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. That is your path. Now to reclaim yourself, to heal the patterns, to live with purpose, not noise, to act from truth, not wounds, to rise, not in spite of your darkness, but because of it. And as you walk this path, remember, healing is not a lonely journey. Here, in this space, we walk together. So if this video touched something inside you, don't leave in silence. Share in the comments. What part of your shadow are you ready to face? What would your inner child say to you right now? Let's make this a space where healing is not only possible, but welcomed. We'll be here 3 times a week, bringing you deep content that goes beyond surface psychology. Every message, every word, crafted to reach the parts of you that need it the most. And every night, we'll continue daily with our powerful evening sessions to bring peace and transformation before you sleep. So make sure you're subscribed, turn on the bell, because we're just getting started. Starting tomorrow or by Sunday at the latest, we'll be making available right here on this channel a powerful digital book on how to heal your inner child. It's rooted in Carl Jung's teachings and built with practical, real-life guidance. It's already changing lives, and it's made for those who are truly ready to commit to their healing journey. We'll let you know in the pinned comment as soon as it's ready, so keep an eye out. You don't need to have it all figured out, you just need to begin, and you already have. So tonight, look in the mirror and say, I'm not here to be perfect, I'm here to be whole, and I choose myself, every part. See you in the next video. You are not alone anymore.